evil. The sooner we jump off this rapidly sinking ship of fools, the safer we will be. Even if we cannot physically remove ourselves, we can in our hearts, our minds, our spirits, and our souls. The most important part of who we are, our essence. Whenever we dehumanize another human being for any erroneously perceived justification from an elitist, self-righteous, frankly mean point of view, we only serve to dehumanize ourselves in the eyes of our owner, our maker, the Creator God Almighty. Does that sound smart? Knowing Jesus called himself the least of men, inasmuch as whatsoever we do or fail to do, equally important, we do or fail to do for him. And that, my friends, is straight out of the Bible. Though, of course, I paraphrase. I paraphrase every quote I make. Absolute free speech is much more than a mere right or an entitlement. Rather, it is an imperative responsibility. Utilizing and exercising it to its fullest is essential to maintaining any sense, any semblance of residual freedom remaining in America. So get it all off your chest today. Yeah, and if you're a dumbass, racist, or hater, get it off your chest. Don't listen to anybody. Do it for the sake of saving America. Any residue that's left of our freedom, do it for the sake of that. I find nothing more repugnant, acutely unnerving, utterly insufferable than fascists who pose as liberal egalitarian socialists, or fascists posing as fiscally prudent Christian conservatives. Though in reality these two types, these supposedly opposing groups, are two peas in one devilish pod, with malevolent intent to murder by misleading the masses to a dismal, drowning death in their satanic lake of muddied and bloodied waters. I strongly contend that humans both deserve and can handle the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. What we do not deserve and cannot handle is the lack of truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Until one is truly free, absolutely free, they cannot know who they truly are. Yeah, have you ever wondered how different you'd be if you were totally free? Completely free, and that has to include financial freedom. Completely free from birth. Our paradigm, our reality would be immensely, profoundly different. Monumentally different. Pray tell, show me how exactly my math is fuzzy, to coin a phrase from Ronald Reagan, in any way regarding the fact that from the genesis of a mandated by law minimum wage as to avoid the exploitation of labor, i.e. slavery, has been steadily declining for decades relative to the real cost of living. You cannot, because it is a mathematical scientific fact, one that is wholly unacceptable, repugnant, untenable, insufferable, and quite frankly evil. So there's an example of me not feeling like I'm not writing in a very concise, coherent manner. Okay, it's not easy to wrap your mind around the gist of what I'm trying to convey here. But the fact is that the Labor Department, it's beyond being incompetent, okay? They have been not just profoundly, dramatically remiss at giving cost of living adjustments to minimum wage workers. This is obviously by deliberation. They are no more than lapdogs for the Federal Reserve Bank. That's it. This is how they steal your wealth, your labors. This is how they've legitimized slavery through this minimum wage law. Do you understand? It didn't happen overnight. Slowly, though, by being utterly, again, deliberately remiss in giving realistic, commensurate cost of living adjustments, they have caused these problems. Okay? It's as clear as light of day. A child can get that. Say, yeah, why didn't they? Over year after year after year, decade after decade after decade. They've been remiss. And these people these are the universal graduates, so the highly educated that are running these agencies like the Labor Department. Come on. This would have prevented the problem we have. There's more than one way to skin a cat to fix a problem, but there's a lot more ways to have prevented the problem in the first place. Preventing the cat from needing to be skinned. Pray tell, show me how exactly my mouth... Oh, wait. I already went through that, but... But yeah, we got to understand the basis for making a minimum law in the first place was to prevent the exploitation of labor, to prevent slavery, right? But if they are profoundly, deliberately remiss at giving proper cost of living adjustments that are ethical and prudent and reasonable, I mean, you understand how this thing happened and how it would have acted as a check and balance to prevent these problems. Because employers would have complained. What do you mean by law I got to give a cost of living adjustment? I got to give a raise to my workers. I don't want to do that. That hurts my profits. Right. Well, don't blame the workers. That's blaming the effect. Do it logically and blame those that are manipulating your cost of living, the workers' cost of living upward, that are colluding, these special interest groups, fixing prices, manipulating markets. Because it's not capitalism, it's not free market, it's not supply and demand. I've explained the effects of true free market supply and demand capitalism. Your currency consistently goes up in worth. That's the only effect that it has. Because we find easier and easier ways to supply all the things we want and need. Supply and demand. You get an abundance, an oversupply, a consistent oversupply. That's what happens naturally. But if you meddle, then the opposite happens. You understand? And on purpose, to manipulate markets. The only reason they want all these immigrants in is to prop up a failed economy, because it puts an artificial demand on stuff, right? Even if one agrees with the virtuous aspects of a socialist utopia, in all honesty, authoritarianly taking from anyone to give to another is immoral, unethical, and flatly wrong, since it is prima facie theft. Right, so even if you think there's virtue to socialism, you can't do it. Besides, the well-heeled just get attorneys. They don't ever end up paying the taxes. It always falls on the backs of the poor the hardest. If anyone diligently seeks wisdom and knowledge of the deepest, most important human learning and education possible, paying attention, listening only to those whom you intuitively trust, and pray to God most assuredly, you will attain such knowledge. Yeah, you ask God for something good, man, you're going to get it. Poured in your lap and overflowing. When it comes to the unmitigated grace of God, I strongly contend that we should take full advantage of it. We should not take it for granted. Yes, take full advantage of it, but definitely don't take it for granted. Be very grateful that you have it to take advantage of. Those whom defend crony capitalism promote socialism. For purposes of propaganda, does the mainstream media make a mountain out of a molehill and a molehill out of a mountain? Therein lies the exemplification of a rhetorical question. That's right, my friends. Obviously, that's what they're doing. It is scripturally purported that womankind was fashioned from a rib taken from the man. Allegorically or otherwise, the woman is now a whole entity, but the man is missing a rib. Who is footing the bill for building and maintaining a civilized society is not nearly as important as who's getting the job done. Right, they measure destruction in dollars instead of man hours, woman hours. Imagine you had a dream whereby you flew your spaceship to a distant inhabited planet. Everyone there looked human and spoke your native tongue. The only significant difference was that though no incarnation, no form of money existed, yet there was a state of universal freedom and security. You wondered, could I sell these people on now using money, and quickly realize the absurdity of such a notion. Thereafter, your dream, your perception, your thinking, your paradigm regarding money is forever altered. True, absolute freedom on a universal basis is a decidedly egalitarian precept. Humanity, unequivocally, can only attain true freedom through full prosperity. In fact, that is as equal as we, as a species, as a race, can ever hope to achieve. While all while all mathematicians are a type of scientist, not all scientists are a type of mathematician. Have you ever felt compunction, even guilt, for being so lucky, so blessed? I have, plenty of time. Feel it all the time, perpetually. The path of least resistance